is CTV News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Travis Fortnum. New details tonight on that foiled terror plot in Michigan, which was allegedly targeting spots in Ferndale, under an hour from us here in Windsor. A third man has now been charged. Federal officials confirm a 19-year-old from Dearborn was arrested just this afternoon, the brother of one of the two men already charged in this case. The U.S. Attorney's Office says the trio now face gun charges and a new count of conspiring to provide material support to ISIS. Court documents show the group purchased multiple AR-15 style rifles, a shotgun, and more than 1,600 rounds of ammo, with agents recovering tactical vests, GoPro cameras, and other gear in Dearborn and Inkster. Investigators say they were planning an attack on Halloween weekend in Ferndale, possibly targeting LGBTQ-friendly locations. Two men from New Jersey and two juveniles are also named in this expanding federal case. Back on our side of the border, provincial police are sounding the alarm once again after a spike in so-called grandparent scams across Essex County. In Lakeshore last week, investigators say a woman got calls from someone pretending to be a lawyer, claiming her grandson had been in a crash and needed $6,500 for bail. A man then showed up to her home, collected the cash, and took off. Police say if you get a call like this, stop and verify. Call your relative directly, talk to other family members, and never hand over money or personal info to a stranger. In Kingsville tonight, an utterly unbelievable story. A cow giving birth to 4 calves at once, something that apparently only happens once in every 11 million births. CTV's Robert Lothian was up at the farm tonight. And Robert, you have learned a lot about cows for this story.
Yes, Travis. I learned today that when it comes to cows, birth can actually be fairly black and white. A cow usually births just one calf, but in some cases they may even have twins. So you can imagine the surprise for 2 Kingsville farmers who learned on Tuesday their cow birthed quadruplets. In a matter of hours, the owners of a Kingsville hobby farm watched as their herd of cows more than doubled.
I knew she was due any time, and I seen something was going on there, so I went and looked, and yeah, she had one.
As each hour passed, Abram Nelson returned to his pasture, finding a second calf and then a third, updating his children with each development when he learned his land was the site of something remarkable.
So I was going to confess to the children because, you know, I lied to them, and I told them there was actually 3. Half an hour later, there was 4.
Beef cow Millie giving birth to a rare 4 calves. Each one came out happy, healthy, and have already received names.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
In 20 years on this farm, each birth has only resulted in 1 calf. The odds of quadruplet calves is a rarity in its own, but the odds for all to be born healthy and alive, Nelson says, is about 1 in 11.2 million.
Even in my own home with my children and all these siblings with their children, everybody was just more than excited to hear that there's 4 babies on this farm.
I hear about a triplet, but you usually want passes, and
Yeah.
not these. These are four little guys and very healthy.
They stressed the entire process was natural, and most importantly, each cow is healthy.
They were all feeding by mommy today. That was pretty, I was happy about that, and they're doing well.
As you can expect, this news was nothing short of a shock for the family. So in the coming days, they'll be building a new shelter for the new calves to have a roof over their head. Travis.
Yes, a roof over their hoofs. Thank you very much, Robert, for that moving story. That's CTV's Robert Lothian reporting. Meantime, the Essex Region Conservation Authority is sounding the alarm, calling the Ford government's plan to amalgamate conservation authorities disheartening.
I'm just like kind of thrown back as like, wow, we didn't see it coming. And it's really disheartening. There's a lot of unknowns.
IRCA Chair Molly Allaire says the move would strip away local control over flooding, erosion, and watershed management issues she says require local expertise. She calls the idea of one large centralized authority unrealistic for a region like Windsor-Essex surrounded on three sides by water. Allaire warns it would mean longer response times, lost jobs, and less accountability to local ratepayers. IRCA staff say they're left with a lot of questions and a lot of concern about what this will mean and for the land and trails they manage.
We're going to sit back and listen, but there's a lot of unknowns, and I just want to make sure that our concerns are heard, because I don't think we sit right next to the same conservation authorities as some out there. We are so focused. We're a flat-laying land. We are surrounded by water, and we are seeing extreme storms. So to say that this will affect us the same as somewhere in, like, I don't know, Northern Ontario is not similar at all.
Bell River residents may notice more police activity this week. The municipality of Lakeshore issuing notice today that Windsor and London police are in town doing some joint training exercises near 300 South Street. Tomorrow, too, neighbors might see a bunch of officers or hear weird noises. Elsewhere, a Tilbury woman is now out on bail while she awaits trial for the murder of Henry Neudorf. 55-year-old Neudorf was killed in January of last year. His body was found on a rural road in Chatham, Kent. One of the people accused of his death, Kimberly Price, is now out on bail, according to her lawyer. Her lawyer tells CTV News Price will be living in Northern Ontario with her surety on strict bail conditions. She's scheduled to go to trial on a murder charge next November. In London tonight, the Windsor man behind Creeper Hunter TV remains behind bars after a brief court appearance. 45-year-old Jason Nasser faces 2 counts of harassment and 1 count of failing to comply with a court order. He made several requests during his brief appearance via Zoom today. He told the court he would be moving forward without a lawyer and would be representing himself for the new charges against him. Convicted of child pornography and extortion in the past, Nasser has had a fair share of legal woes linked to his website since 2020. The latest charges stem from Nasser attending a screening of a documentary based on himself at the Forest City Film Festival in London last week. He's scheduled to be back in court on Monday. Chatham Kent is weighing a nearly 5% tax hike in next year's budget. Officials say it's about maintaining roads and bridges, not adding services. CTV's Chris Campbell reports.
Chatham Kent is planning to spend more than $500 million over the next 4 years on core infrastructure, and that means higher property taxes in 2026. A proposed 4.9% tax hike works out to about $104 more for every $100,000 of property value.
Part of the budget process is to support a long-term community, and that's what we're looking at here is how do we make investments now that are going to benefit future generations.
But a cap on the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund, or OCIF, limits Chatham Kent to $10 million a year, even though the municipality's size and needs qualify it for nearly 3 times that amount. Officials say the funding shortfall adds about 2 percentage points to the tax increase this year alone.
We are very hopeful that the province will step up and fill that gap, that it's a plea for help that we're asking to make a huge difference in our infrastructure spending here in Chatham-Kent.
We're not asking for any special treatment, we're asking for equitable treatment. So we want the funding cap to be removed so that we can have the funding that makes sense based on the formula the province set forward and be treated just like every other municipality in Ontario.
Only 3 municipalities are capped in the province, Chatham-Kent, Sudbury and Thunder Bay, but Chatham-Kent is the largest with the most infrastructure to maintain, 3,500 kilometres of roads and 4,000 kilometres of drains. Lifting that cap would bring in about $19 million in 2026.
It makes an absolute huge difference here in Chatham-Kent. No other municipality in the province is shortchanged as much as we are based on the formulas that they put forth.
Council and staff say efficiencies have been found to keep costs down, but without provincial changes, pressure on local taxpayers will only grow.
It'd be nice if it could come out of somewhere where they could decrease spending and then put that towards this, but if it had to be for infrastructure, that I could see would be okay, but I would definitely be for cutting down where you can and then using that towards infrastructure.
I think it's a little bit too much because still right now the economy is bad.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
In Essex, council's hoping to get more cabs on the road by making it cheaper to drive one. Members voting unanimously to waive the $300 taxi license fee and slash the driver fee from $170 to $20. The move follows a police report warning of more impaired driving cases in the area. The town has seen just one licensed cab over the past 2 years and none this year. The fee holiday starts December 1st and runs through 2026, with council set to review its impact in early 2027. Newcomers in Windsor, Essex got a one-stop shop for health and wellness today at the Chicharo Club. The Multicultural Council hosted its 21st annual Health and Wellness Expo, connecting newcomers with local health and community services. More than 1,000 people attended, learning about programs, asking questions, and meeting representatives from over 50 service providers.
So it's critical. It's so important that we connect as a community, share what we have to offer in this region, but the same day, everyone's here to help, right? So especially here at the MCC, that's what we want to do. All of our staff, every single day, they wake up and that's what they want to do, is help someone.
History made in Detroit last night with voters electing Mary Sheffield as the city's mayor. The longtime council president will be the first woman to take the office.
I don't take for granted that I stand on the shoulders of so many warrior women who have prayed, who have sacrificed, just for us to be here in this moment.
As we told you last night, when the results were fresh, Sheffield is set to take office in January, succeeding outgoing Mayor Mike Duggan, who's stated his intention to run for governor. Sheffield's promising to build on Detroit's momentum with safer neighborhoods, stronger schools, and growth that reaches every block. Under Duggan, the city balanced its budget 12 years in a row, cut violent crime, and even reversed decades of population loss. Now, Sheffield says it's about making sure that progress is shared across the city.
And so I say to every little girl watching tonight, and to every child in this city, never doubt yourself. You are gifted. You are powerful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. No mountain is too high for you to climb. Together, we made history, Detroit. Together, we will build a brighter future. Together, we will rise higher. Thank you, Detroit. I love you all. God bless you.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time.
Station 1 won it last year. We won it the year before, so it's a rivalry.
Still ahead, Windsor firefighters are turning up the heat for a good cause. We'll show you what's got everybody fired up. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is here with a look at the forecast. Gary, today was not a bad day, and is tomorrow looking okay too?
Travis, good evening once again. We're talking about sunshine but colder temperatures. I agree with you. Today was, relatively speaking, mild, just gray and certainly windy. We got close to 15 degrees in some parts of southwestern Ontario. For Windsor at the airport, 14.4 degrees Celsius was registered early in the afternoon. Our average is now, for a high, just below 11 degrees. We will be getting colder and then some. Why is that? Well, we have a northwesterly wind profile, and that pattern shaping up to induce in this area of low pressure not just showers but some snow. Yes, that's snow just south and east of North Bay, headed towards the nation's capital, and steady rains also into the northeastern USA. Behind it, still some strong gusty winds between now and tomorrow morning, say at around 9 a.m. By the way, at 8 a.m., it'll only be about 2 degrees Celsius. Then we'll gear up for some rain coming for Friday. Good sweep right across the heart of southern Ontario. So enjoy the clearing through the overnight. If we do see some showers between right now as I speak, could see it up until about 3 or 4 a.m. Most of it, again, is light by that time and to the east of us here in extreme southwestern Ontario. Speaking of, this map laying it out. Look at this. Temperatures down to 1 degree Celsius. Our average low at this time of the year is +2, so it's technically seasonal. Under a clear sky, and the wind will be, well, close to about +5, maybe 10 kilometers per hour. So, relatively light breeze, clear sky, but a chilly early morning start. Here's the breakdown for tomorrow, Thursday, sunny through the midday and afternoon in particular. Might see a few clouds in the morning. At 8 a.m., as mentioned, a cold start, 2 degrees Celsius up to 8. The winds calm through the midday and a light breeze out of the south, 10 kilometers per hour. At a high of 11 degrees is seasonal or average for this time of the year. So enjoy the sunshine, because I'm anticipating it being cloudy from Friday through the weekend into Monday and even Tuesday, Remembrance Day. 6 days from now, we are looking at some lows in the minuses next week. So frosty to start tomorrow morning and frosty again next week, and rain in between all of that. The weather is dynamic, isn't it? Let's look at your 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Gary. In Sarnia this morning, residents were awoken by what they say sounded like an explosion as a house burst into flame. With more on the ensuing emergency response, here's CTV's Sean Irvin.
A firefighter douses a 2-story home on Brock Street, just a short walk from Sarnia's downtown core. Crews responded here around 2:30 Wednesday. Some neighbors, including this man, reported hearing some sort of blast just prior to their arrival.
I thought maybe the house next door exploded.
As Sarnia firefighters pulled up, they found the residence ablaze.
Heavy flames coming from both levels of the home. We started attacking the fire and doing our search and rescue. Like I said, no one was in the home, so we just proceeded to extinguish the fire.
At least one firefighter went door to door asking everyone to close their windows.
My 3-year-old had woken up, and we heard some pounding at the door, and as soon as I opened the door, there's just smoke everywhere, and I didn't know what was going on.
Firefighters quickly determined the home was empty. Residents said the last tenants moved out 2 months ago. That leaves local crews and an investigator with the fire marshal's office to piece together the cause.
Eyewitnesses heard a possible explosion, so that we're looking into that, whether that was the primary cause or that was secondary because of the fire. That's all being investigated right now.
No firefighters were injured as the blaze was extinguished, but in excess of 20 were on scene during the fight. The stability of the structure remains a concern. Damage is significant.
So it's going to be a total loss, so in the hundreds of thousands to rebuild the whole structure.
In Sarnia, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Ontarians appear divided on the province's direction, according to a new survey. The Leger poll shows 1 in 3 residents think Ontario is on the right track, while 55% say it's going the wrong way. Housing affordability remains the top concern, followed by healthcare, homelessness, and poverty. They give stronger ratings on federal relations and trade preparedness. Premier Doug Ford's approval stands at 45%, ahead of NDP leader Marit Stiles. This with the Ford government set to unveil its fall economic statement tomorrow. It comes on the heels of yesterday's federal budget announcement. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris has the details.
Making final adjustments on his own fiscal update, Ontario's finance minister underwhelmed by the federal budget.
Less transformational, it's more tinkering. It lacks some ambition.
Peter Bethlen-Falvey is glad to see a tax cut for first-time buyers on new homes up to $1 million that Ontario will match. But he wanted a commitment to Ontario's priorities.
Large-scale nuclear, the Ring of Fire, the 401 tunneling. These things are really important to creating jobs, getting shovels in the ground.
The attachment to a tunnel for cars in transit under the 401 baffles opposition leaders.
What worries me is this government could be pouring more money into a fiscally stupid project instead of actually investing in building homes that people can afford.
Marit Stiles wants less preoccupation with the pie-in-the-sky tunnel and more answers to the question,
what is your plan to create jobs now, to save the jobs that people are losing in forestry, in auto?
With youth unemployment especially high.
We want to see programs that will actually help
young people get their first job and actually help Ontario businesses as well.
Colleges and universities will have to deal with a dramatic cut to the number of student visas in the federal budget.
It's probably the right sizing that had to be done.
Post-secondary institutions had leaned on the higher fees international students pay to balance their books. Schools have been pleading with the government for more cash and to lift a tuition freeze.
We'll continue being there for the sector, and this is why we are doing a funding formula review.
Bethlen Falvey not tipping his hand about whether more help is coming.
Well, one more sleep.
The finance minister signaled earlier this week he still intends to balance the budget by 2027-28. The province finished last fiscal year $1 billion in the hole, far better than expected, but that was before the weight of tariffs really set in. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was boosted by strength in the basic materials sector. In Toronto, the TSX gained 326 points, and in New York, the Dow added 226, while the Nasdaq is up 151. The Canadian dollar lost 0.15 of a cent, and on commodity markets, gold gained more than $32 an ounce, but oil lost 96 cents a barrel. The Windsor-Essex County Sports Hall of Fame holds its annual gala this weekend, and this year's class is stacked. New inductees include Tyrone Crawford, Luke Wilson, and Cara Rowe, just to name a few. And in the builder category, Andy Kiss, Bruce Carter, and the voice of the Spits on AM 800, Steve Bell. Kiss coached St. Anne to 16 WEXA titles and an OFSA Gold in 2007 and says joining the Hall alongside mentors he looked up to makes the honor even more meaningful.
When I was growing up, I wanted to be Mike Berkovich, when I was in like grade 8, grade 9 high school. But it also means that I've worked with exceptional people in my career as a coach, players, assistant coaches, associate coaches. I've been blessed.
In the OHL, Windsor Spitfires goalie Joey Costanzo is closing in on a franchise record.
Pretty special to look at something like that, and obviously, Mikey is obviously like, when you think Windsor Spitfires, you think Mikey DiPietro, so that's pretty cool. But honestly, we're just going to take it game by game, and whenever I break it, knock on wood, we'll celebrate it then.
Costanzo has 80 career wins, just 6 shy of the mark held by Amherstburg's Mikey DiPietro. The Spits host Kingston Thursday and Brampton Saturday, sitting second overall in the OHL. Head coach Greg Walters says last spring's playoff run really gave this young core experience that's already paying off.
It's just made them better players. They know what to expect as the league takes 3 tiers. It's the start of the year, and then after Christmas it will take a jump, and then obviously playoffs goes up another level. So it's great that those players were able to do that, and we're excited to see where we can get to here.
Enzo Joe, here's going to be a sweep play to Green.
He's passing it.
He's going to pass it into the
wide
end zone. Touchdown, Windsor!
Turning to football, the Lancers are heading into the off-season after a tough loss to Queens. Windsor led midway through their semifinal, but the Gales stormed back with 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns to advance. Head coach J.P. Chirelli says the focus now turns to training, recruiting, and academics, and raising funds to keep the program competitive.
There's always the how do you get bigger, stronger, faster. That's a big part of it, but they also got to focus on the school end now. They've got to make sure their grades are where they need to be, and we got to make sure that we're bringing in top-notch recruits and guys who can complement the team. And the biggest thing is we always got to raise funds. We've got to reach out to our alumni, reach out to the community, and see how they can support us.
Meantime, Windsor minor football is pushing for a municipal turf field that could serve all field sports. The group has a petition online arguing the city's only turf at McHugh Park is soccer only due to FIFA regulations.
Would benefit not just us, but all sports, soccer included, lacrosse, all these field sports that don't have a grass turf field surface to play on, easily accessible. I think it would just benefit the community as a whole, not just football, but obviously we are looking to help our community as well.
On the edge of the 6-yard box as Lapos sends this one in. Benches in front of going off the right post, a deflection.
Speaking of soccer, St. Clair College opening nationals today after cleaning up at the awards banquet. Their coach was named Coach of the Year for a second time, and forward Victoria Walsh earned All-Canadian honors. The Saints had chances early, but Mount St. Vincent broke through in the 60th minute and held on for a 1-0 win. St. Clair plays again tomorrow at noon in the bronze quarters. And on the high school court, the senior boys volleyball final is set. Top-ranked St. Joe's swept St. Anne, while third-seed Sandwich upset number 2 Villanova. The two schools meet for the AAA title tomorrow at the Laserdome. First serve is at 5:30.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is back with one last look at the forecast for the evening. Gary, a little bit of everything over the next week.
You're right about that, Travis. Colder temperatures and some rain showers. Might even see a mix. Look at next Monday into Tuesday. Some flurries, rain showers. Temperatures are well below seasonal by Sunday, in fact. We could be looking at minuses and frosty weather for a good stretch next week. For now, sunny tomorrow, a cold start, +1, and then warming up to 11 degrees, which is average. 13, a bit warmer, but rainy on Friday throughout the day. Showers for the weekend and cooling off. And that cool, below seasonal trend will linger at least until Tuesday, Remembrance Day. Next week, don't forget your poppies and have yourselves a good night. Travis?
Thank you, Gary. And hey, it may be getting cold outside, but Windsor firefighters are turning up the heat, and they're calling on you to bring the appetite.
Everybody gets a ticket to vote. So we have the top fire hall chili, and then we have the top restaurant in the city. So your vote gets
Derek Bull is helping organize this year's Chili Fest. It's happening Friday night at the Hellenic Cultural Center on Walker Road. $15 gets you all the chili you can handle, with proceeds going back into local school breakfast programs. And as for the 40-plus chilies on the menu, don't bother asking for the recipe. They are a closely guarded secret.
Station 1 won it last year. We won it the year before, so it's a rivalry, 1 and 2. Yeah.
What goes in your chili?
I can't say, Michelle, I can't say what goes in there. Then they're gonna know. You always leave one ingredient off the list, so you leave the list out and you leave that key ingredient off. So if they look at it, then they're missing the key ingredient.
That's our time for tonight. I hope you'll join us tomorrow. For now, I'm Travis Fortnum. Take care.